Live from Fox 13 Studios, this is Fox 13's Live at 5.
Our top story at 5, a K-9 with the Roy Police Department is recovering after a shootout that left one suspect dead, another in police custody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Schnee.
And I'm Kirsten Nunez. Now this afternoon, we're learning more about what happened and how that K-9 officer is doing. Fox 13's Spencer Joseph is in Roy with the latest.
Roy Police tells me last night was a scary situation, and they're thankful that their K-9 officer will survive, but there were some tense moments in that gunfight.
As officers were approaching the vehicle, it appears that they were fired upon. They returned fire. One male is deceased. Another male who is uninjured is in custody.
What police say started as a routine traffic stop led to a pursuit ending in gunfire.
One of our vehicles received damage from rounds that were fired by the suspect.
The man who tried to evade officers is now dead, another in custody. No officers were injured, but unfortunately, Roy's K-9 officer Mick was shot by one of the suspects.
He was shot in the face. He is expected to survive, but the extent of his injuries I'm not aware of yet.
Mick thinks he owns the place.
Mick is the Roy Police Department's only current K-9, being on the force for about 2 years.
You know, the K-9 becomes the partner with that officer, and you know, there's a lot of they're a team.
K-9 Mick is being treated at a local veterinary emergency room. It's too early to tell if the injuries will be long-term. Police say Mick and his handler are very close.
This is, I'm sure, very traumatic for the officer as well.
For that officer and others who were under fire Saturday morning, Master Officer Hackworth says the community has shown support to them after a tense night.
We love what we do. We love our community, and we're honored to be able to serve them and receive the support from the community that we have out here in Roy.
The investigation is now underway into how many shots were fired. Officers have now been placed on administrative leave, and the Weber and Davis County District Attorneys have taken over the investigation. In Roy, Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
And we've just learned within the past hour that K-9 Mick underwent surgery this afternoon. Roy Police say that Mick will be out of action for about 6 weeks, but is expected to make a full recovery.
Our other top story today, there are a number of wildfires burning in Utah right now. The Parley's fire is currently 35% contained, burning 80 acres. Fire crews say very minimal fire activity has happened today. 130 personnel are reinforcing those fire lines, and evacuation orders for the Mount Ayr area remain in effect.
The Richard Mountain Fire continues to burn near the Utah-Wyoming border. It's 50 miles south of Rock Springs. Right now, 40% contained, burning more than 4,600 acres. Green River sections B and Browns Park Road are open, while Clay Basin Road remains closed.
And the Upper Provo fire east of Camas is now 44% contained. So far, that fire has burned 480 acres. Crews say the most active spot in the fire is just west of Pyramid Lake. They're working to keep the fire from spotting over that lake.
Well, just a nice day outside for those of us in northern Utah. Breck, what are folks experiencing across the state, and what might they see for the rest of their weekend?
Well, what we're seeing here across northern Utah, similar scene statewide, in that we are seeing sunny skies, temperatures about where they should be for this time of year, maybe a little bit warmer. Winds not as strong here today. Let's take a look outside right now, a view from our Oquirrh Mountain camera. Looking east across the Salt Lake Valley, you've got Immigration Canyon, Parley's Canyon also in your view. As we speak about the fire situation, yeah, things are looking fairly calm in trying to battle these blazes here throughout today. Let's take a look though at your current conditions, where as we show you satellite radar, it's just not active, fairly calm. But speaking of the winds, looking specifically as we go up Parley's Canyon, dealing with that Parley's fire. As they said, limited fire activity today. As you can see, the winds out of the west at 9 miles per hour. However, humidity levels very low, not only as we're seeing here through Parley's Canyon, but statewide in addition. Now looking at other winds across the state, still a decent persistent afternoon breeze, particularly across central and southern Utah, sustained winds anywhere between 15 to 20 miles per hour. But as far as any red flag warnings in place, nothing a big concern right now. Temperatures currently, well, a little bit warmer than yesterday. Currently at 95 degrees in Salt Lake City. We've got upper 80s in Logan, standing at 91 in Price, mid-60s in Green River, close to 90 degrees in Cedar City, and looking in St. George right now, you're at 100 degrees. Okay, we'll call it partly cloudy skies here throughout the afternoon, clearing up as those clouds will thin out. Temperatures look to drop down into the 80s as we head into the 7 o'clock hour. Overnight, we're going to keep skies clear as well. But thermometer back on the rise. How hot does it get? Any relief in sight, either with temperatures or some rain? We'll show you that 7-day forecast coming up.
Sounds good. Thank you, Breck. New tonight at 5. Quite the mess down near the Arizona Strip on I-15. A semi-crash early this morning, shutting down northbound lanes in the Virgin River Gorge area with the trailer dangling off the side of the bridge. The driver had to be pulled out. Arizona Department of Public Safety telling our partners at the St. George News that the driver is in serious but stable condition. The wreck even caused a 6-acre wildfire that's already been put out. Northbound traffic is still being detoured tonight.
Now for a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers today. We saw 376 new cases reported by the state. That puts us at 43,751. There are no new deaths to report. Our rolling 7-day average of positive tests is 426 per day, and the rolling 7-day average for percent of positive lab tests is 9.3%. Governor Gary Herbert has extended his executive orders on COVID-19. The executive orders cover the existing health guidelines for coronavirus, including the color-coded phases the state is in. Now, those don't change. Now, he also extended his order requiring face masks to be worn in all state-run facilities. So that's going to include liquor stores, driver license offices, and the DMV.
With the school year around the corner and the Salt Lake County mask mandate in place, the city of Kearns is making an effort to make sure its community has enough masks. Today, the city held a mask drive-through, offering the face wear to groups like schools and businesses. They were able to give away about 10,000 masks. City leaders saying the response to the drive-through was positive. They had a good turnout.
You know, we have an incredible community. We're a very close community for as large as we are. Again, we have 35,000 people in here. We all watch out for each other, and I think that the response has been incredible today.
The city of Kearns planning to give away 35,000 masks in total over the next few weeks.
And happening tonight, friends and family are holding a candlelight vigil for the 4 people killed in the West Jordan plane crash last month. The plane crashed into the West Jordan home of Mary Quintana, killing her and the 3 people inside the plane, Lee Wyckoff, Milda Shabonis, and 9-month-old Coral Wyckoff. 3 others on the plane did survive that crash. The vigil is planned for 7 tonight at the soccer fields at 7800 South and 4000 West in West Jordan. And in southern Utah, a St. George soldier has been laid to rest after his death in the Middle East. 25-year-old Sergeant Brian Cooper Mount was a paratrooper deployed to Syria in June. He died in a rollover crash a little more than a month later. Sergeant Mount's funeral took place at the Iron County Fairgrounds in Parowan this morning. Governor Gary Herbert ordered all flags be lowered to half-staff today in Sergeant Mount's honor. If you'd like to support Mount's family, we have a link to their GoFundMe page on fox13now.com.
Rescue crews in Iron County had to rescue an injured hiker near the Canyon's Mouth Trail by Cedar City. Deputies said last night around 8 o'clock they got a 911 call from 64-year-old Russell Mendenhall. He was hiking off the trail alone at the top of the mountain ridge when he slipped and fell from a ridge top about 100 feet, landing on a ledge near a cliff face. A DPS helicopter had to be called in to fly Mendenhall to a nearby hospital. The hiker's injuries are minor, and he is expected to recover.
Dixie Regional Medical Center has been named the 2nd best hospital here in Utah. That's according to the newly released annual Best Hospitals list by U.S. News and World Report. The hospital was also named high performing in 7 different procedures. Dixie Regional Medical Center is changing its name to St. George Regional Hospital. That's going to happen next year. University of Utah Hospital placed 1st, while Intermountain Medical Center in Murray placed 3rd. A team bonding meeting for the Dixie State football team turned into a whole lot more on Friday night.
Fox 13's John Franke explains how the team's strength and heart were in the right place at the right time.
There's a lot more to life than sports, but a lot of coaches and athletes use their platform to do good for others in the world. The Dixie State football team got that chance Friday night and did not disappoint.
Every year I take the team up to Dixie Rock, and it's got a great view of the city.
Dixie Rock is a St. George icon.
I like telling our guys to look out and see what they represent.
As the sun set Friday, head coach Paul Peterson took his team back to Dixie Rock. This time it was the venue for a real-life lesson nobody expected.
We got up there, we seen a lady off the side of the cliff hanging, and her hair was stuck to the rope, and we were like, what's going on?
A woman rappelling the rock somehow got caught.
It was scary for a minute.
Her partner asked the team to lend a hand.
As fast as they asked us.
As you can see in this video, despite being so close to the edge of the cliff, more than one hand pitched in.
It was good timing on our part, it seems like, but I think anybody would have done that to help someone out that was definitely struggling.
The team pulled the woman to safety.
I'm glad she got up there, and God put us in the right place at the right time.
It turns out all that work to get ready for the football season.
We lift every day, we get bigger and stronger, faster every day, so we might as well use it in the real world.
Has already passed the test before kickoff.
The reason why we're up there is to show them what we represent, and we had a chance to help somebody.
In a season beginning in a cloud of uncertainty because of cancellations caused by the coronavirus pandemic, a lot came into focus on Dixie Rock.
At the end of the day, life is more important.
Regardless of what happens on the field.
We love playing football. We love going out there, hitting each other, having fun.
The Trailblazers may have already taken home what will be their most important victory of the season.
There's a game outside of the game, and we just want to be the best men we possibly can be.
And as for the 2020 season, Coach Peterson says the team is willing to play everybody and anybody. In the meantime, they're taking precautions to keep all the players and staff safe, and as you saw, doing their part to keep their community safe. In Salt Lake City, John Franke, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Former U.S. Ambassador and former Utah Governor Jon Huntsman Jr. may not be done with the idea of trying to get his old job back. This was posted last night on an Instagram account Jon and Mary Kay Huntsman share. You'll note the caption says, Isabel trying to convince her Papa to do a write-in campaign for Utah governor. He told her he would think about it. It stokes those rumors that he's considering a write-in campaign. Huntsman said back in June he was not going to pursue a write-in bid. He lost the Republican nomination for governor by 6,300 votes to Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox. The Utah Republican Party is making it clear where it stands on all of this. In a statement to Fox 13, Utah GOP Chairman Derek Brown says, when Jon Huntsman conceded the race to Spencer Cox, he gracefully stated he would respect the will of the people and reiterated no plans for a write-in campaign. Brown says the party takes him at his word, and the Utah Republican Party is 100% supportive of the Republican nominee, Spencer Cox.
A lawsuit dismissed over the fatal shooting of a black man by Salt Lake City police in 2017 could be revived. Patrick Harmon's family filed a lawsuit alleging racial bias in this case. Salt Lake City police claim Harmon threatened officers with a knife at the time. A federal judge dismissed most of the lawsuit, but the judge preserved two state law claims, a civil rights violation and an excessive force claim. In a new court filing obtained by Fox 13, lawyers for the Harmon family asked to have those claims moved to state court where they can be argued. For more on this story, head over to fox13now.com. The Utah's Court of Appeals has rejected a whistleblower lawsuit filed by an ex-police officer against the city of Ephraim because it was filed a day too early. Darren Peed was among several officers who claimed the city's police chief failed to fill out hundreds of police reports for crimes going back for years. Peed claims he was threatened with his job for reporting misconduct to state authorities. Peed's whistleblower lawsuit, originally filed after the Christmas holiday back in 2017, has now been dismissed in both state and federal court.
You may notice a variety of military aircraft flying into northern Utah on Monday. Hill Air Force Base's 86th Fighter Weapons Squadron is running an in-depth weapons evaluation known as Combat Hammer. It's part of the Air Force's Weapons System Evaluation Program. Crews will build, load, and employ weapons for the aircraft, testing the readiness of the weapon systems. Combat Hammer is scheduled to end August 13th.
Still to come, President Trump taking action to help tens of millions of Americans impacted by coronavirus. We'll break down the benefits that have been given the green light.
And we have a better idea of what the mysterious seeds from China that have been popping up in some Utahns' mailboxes actually are. We'll explain.
In your national news, as this weekend, the total number of coronavirus cases in the U.S. is ticking closer to 5 million.
And meanwhile, New York has now given all schools the all clear to hold in-person classes this fall. And as Britt Conway reports, this comes as health experts warn that coronavirus cases among children, teens, and young adults is skyrocketing.
Schools get the green light. New York giving schools the all clear to hold in-person classes this fall.
By our infection rates, all school districts can open everywhere in the state.
The governor of what was once the epicenter of the pandemic, now leaving it up to school districts to convince parents it's safe for kids to go back to school.
We have to make sure they're safe, and what we're saying is they are not safe. If the transmission rates are not low and have been low for 2 weeks, they are not safe.
But concerns are growing, with health experts warning that coronavirus cases are skyrocketing in children, teens, and young adults. In the state of Georgia, more than 200 students and 8 teachers from one school district are quarantined. This after several people tested positive for COVID-19 during the first week of school.
If we open too fast, if kids get sick, if adults get sick, if we have to shut back down in 2 or 3 weeks, that's the worst possible outcome. Just further re-traumatizes kids and endangers the adults in their lives.
Also in Georgia, a picture of a crowded high school hallway went viral on Twitter. The school suspended the student who posted the picture, but later overturned the decision.
I was concerned for the safety of everyone in that building and everyone in the county.
Britt Conway, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Continuing your national news, President Donald Trump signed 4 executive orders this afternoon, all to help give relief to Americans suffering from the economic fallout of the coronavirus. This includes $400 per week in unemployment benefits, suspending payments on some student loans through the end of the year, protections from evictions, and deferring payroll taxes through the end of the year for Americans who earn less than $100,000 a year. The president blamed Democrats for this stalemate in Congress.
Democrats are obstructing all of it. Therefore, I'm taking executive action. We've had it. And we're going to save American jobs and provide relief to the American workers.
Trump says for the new $400 per week benefit, states would be on the hook for funding 25% to millions of unemployed Americans, while the federal government would pick up that other 75%.
More protests in Portland last night. Last night's gathering was declared an unlawful assembly by Portland police after the demonstrators marched to buildings of Portland police and the local sheriff's office. About 200 people gathered at Laurelhurst Park, reacting negatively after warnings were given against pointing lasers and throwing objects at police. Portland has now seen 71 continuous nights of protests against police brutality.
An update now to a story that Fox 13 broke last month. You know, the recent mystery of seeds sent anonymously from China in the mail to people all around the world. Well, it may have been solved. The USDA recently identified several of the seeds as harmless. They include mustard, cabbage, mint, and sage. The USDA says this may be nothing but a brushing scam. That's where people receive unsolicited items from a seller who then posts false customer reviews to boost sales.
Well, you definitely weren't supposed to plant those seeds. I think that was part of the idea here. You destroy them at all costs. But if you're outside gardening, like, weather has been really nice here. Temperatures have been comfortable, especially compared to where they were last week. Is that going to change here, Brack?
That is for sure. But as we talk about gardening, my garden is struggling right now just because we haven't gotten any rain. So yes, we've been seeing those temperatures come down. We need precipitation, though, as August, of course, starting off very dry. It is sunny, though, across the state, and air quality not as bad as we give you a view currently in Moab, looking well off in the distance there. A little bit of smoke, but not as thick as we saw 2 or 3 days ago, where air quality, not much of a concern across southern Utah. View, as we look in Erta, so we're moving through the Twila Valley, it's clear, hardly a cloud around. And then also another view from the Oquirrh Mountain camera where, again, that smoke not as apparent there. As you view off towards the west, it might look a little bit stronger, but it's not too bad currently, where temperatures Very similar to yesterday, maybe a degree or two warmer. Winds are calm. We've got low to mid 90s there along the Wasatch Front, which our average high, we should be about 93 degrees. Now, as I show you the air quality, most stations are reporting decent air as we look all along the Wasatch Front, not only through Salt Lake Valley, but moving through Weber and Davis County, up through Cache Valley as well. So good news there. We know, though, we still are having the effects of high pressure, and that's going to be strengthening here over the next few days. And limited moisture in effect as we look also for the upcoming work week. Really, we don't have any big storm pattern. And even looking at the potential of getting that monsoon flow, there's some concerns there. But we will see temperatures rising, hopefully avoiding the triple digits. And I just give you kind of a teaser looking long range from the Climate Prediction Center. The model's showing that once we get towards the half end or the later half of August, we're going to be looking at potentially some slightly below normal temperatures, particularly across northern and through central Utah. That's off on the horizon. Let's focus in on this week, though, because it's a little bit of a different story where as that high pressure does build in, we're going to be looking at temperatures again back on the rise. Now, watches and warnings, nothing in effect for today. What you're seeing in pink is a red flag warning, which will be in effect for tomorrow, starting at noon until tomorrow evening. We are expecting to see, particularly as we look towards the Wasatch back, the Wasatch Mountains, incorporating Cache County as well as Ridge County, winds picking up. Again, nothing of great strength, but as we've been seeing, especially over the past few days, in the afternoon hours, those winds 15, 20 miles per hour with wind gusts even stronger than that. And of course, as we've been seeing the fires that are burning Upper Provo River, as looking also Parley's Canyon, just a quick start, and things can change rather quickly. As it is dry right now, we give you a wider viewpoint to find out where the moisture's at. It's not through the western United States. It's dry in California, Nevada, Arizona. Starting to see a little moisture where the high pressure in its position, moving through portions of Oklahoma, northern Texas, that monsoonal flow is really limited in its coverage just east of the state, where it's not going to be pushing through. And this high pressure in its position is not going to be changing up too much, even though we'll see a little strength in the pressure that will mainly give us a change in temperatures rather than that chance of some rain. And just even looking over the next 48 hours, looking again at the models where we can maybe see a raindrop. Tomorrow, next 24 hours, nothing as we push through maybe Sunday into Monday. Oh, Uinta Mountains get hit, which, of course, during the summer months, that's just a typical situation there, especially throughout the afternoon. But as you can see, all across the state, not even a drop. So for tonight, we're keeping it clear. Overnight lows, not too bad. It's 60s. Again, that's cool enough where you can open up the windows, especially as you turn towards eastern Utah, where we've got temperatures of Myrtle and Price in the 50s, Cedar City as well. Tomorrow, copy and paste, 95 degrees, it's sunny, it's dry, here we go. Temperatures maybe a little bit warmer across southern Utah where we're in the low 90s in Cedar City, 102 in St. George. And for St. George, really between 102, 103 next several days until Thursday and Friday. Then we're kicking up to 104 and then 105. Northern Utah, it's low to mid 90s. It gets a little warmer Thursday, Friday, and Saturday where we're talking mid to upper 90s. But over the next 7 days, we're avoiding the triple digits and again, keeping the rain away.
Still to come for some of us, scrolling through social media feeds could stress you out. Coming up, a new survey shows how Americans are taking a step back from social media, all for their mental health.
And a reminder, Fox 13 News is now streaming live on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. You can also watch video on demand and get replays of our newscasts on there. Just go to your channel store, search KSTU Fox 13, and install the free app today.
You're watching Fox 13 News. Let's connect.
Welcome back. Utah Foster Care held its 18th annual Chalk Art Festival today. The organization featured several chalk artists at the Gateway Mall showing off their art to visitors of this festival. And it's all to bring awareness to the role of foster parents here in Utah. If you have an interest in fostering a child or would like to donate to the cause, we have a link to the organization on fox13now.com.
Well, it's back by popular demand. Harriman's City Shop Around Round 2 is happening now. People there should be getting 10 Harriman bucks in their mailbox. They can be used at participating businesses now through September 15th. It's all in an effort to bring more business to the area during a time when COVID-19 has slowed a lot of things down. You may remember the first round happened back in June.
Still ahead in our next half hour, the running mate for Utah's Republican candidate for governor tests positive for COVID-19. How State Senator Deidre Henderson is doing tonight.
And springing into action, the close call one father had when he had to step in between his daughter and an alligator.
Live from Fox 13 Studios, this is Live at 5:30.
Thanks for joining us tonight. The Republican candidate for lieutenant governor has announced that she has tested positive for COVID-19.
Senator Deidre Henderson disclosing her diagnosis today. Fox 13's Ben Winslow is on Capitol Hill with more.
Senator Henderson announced she's doing fine, all things considered. In posts on social media, the senator announced her positive diagnosis alongside other members of her family. She'd already been quarantining as a precautionary measure. Senator Henderson urged people to continue wearing masks so they don't unknowingly spread coronavirus to other people. She is the running mate of Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox, the Republican candidate for governor. He posted his well wishes to her on Twitter and says he has not been around her in a week. They wear face masks when they do meet, and he has no reason to believe he has been exposed. Now, Senator Henderson is the second member of the Utah State Senate to announce a positive COVID-19 diagnosis. Senate Minority Whip Luz Escamilla announced her diagnosis in March. She has since recovered. Senate President Stuart Adams announced he tested positive for COVID-19 antibodies, although he says he doesn't know when he would have contracted the virus. On the Hill, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
So, Breck, I'm still a little caught on your last weather hit when you said below average temperatures. I know it's not for a while, but you haven't said those words in a long time.
It has been a while. Yeah, especially over the past couple of weeks, where last week we were contending with record-breaking temperatures. Felt like we couldn't even get out of the triple digits, where throughout the past few days we're back into the 90s, close to average. But yeah, looking long range, which we know long range at some point will be below average, but that is the trend we're heading, long range. But for this week, and especially for the next couple of days, we're actually going to be finding temperatures slightly above normal. Now in St. George, as you're right at the century mark with your current temperature at 100 degrees, it is clear and it looks better, at least visibly, air quality, where we don't have the smoke concerns here throughout today, where we're contending with that last week, especially Tuesday and Wednesday. View as we look up Hiram Reservoir. This is just south of Logan. Yeah, it looks great. The water disturbed just a little bit, just with a little bit of a breeze, but no big concern wind-wise here throughout the afternoon, where we do not have any current red flag warnings in place. That looks to change, though, for tomorrow. Let's take a look at those temperatures, where in Logan, you're holding on to the 80s, as well as in Evanston. Right now, you stand at 92 degrees in Vernal, 91 in Delta, 95 in Moab. I mentioned in St. George, you're at 100 degrees, and we show you the temperature change over the past 24 hours. Again, across the Wasatch Front through western Utah, we're finding afternoon temperatures maybe a degree or two warmer than yesterday. And as we look ahead, moving for your evening planner for the Wasatch Front, we're going to be holding on to mostly clear skies, as we'll be still in the low 90s heading into the 7 o'clock hour, dipping down into the 80s by 9 o'clock. Skies look to be clear. Boy, we just have been under this dry spell, hardly finding any clouds or any chance of precipitation over the past few days. Does that look to change, though? Is this the week that either we could see a storm push through or bring down that monsoon flow? I'll let you know coming up.
In your health headlines, social media has since taken on a life of its own during the pandemic. It's easy to be overwhelmed by it, and it can definitely take a toll on our mental health. Barb Consiglio takes a look at how we can keep this stress and anxiety in check, and how Americans are just beginning to adjust how they use social media.
Andrea Coder has had enough of the endless debates on social media.
The comment sections just get bombarded with negativity and hate-filled comments, and that's really hard to see.
She removed social apps from her phone to limit her access and has scaled back on people and organizations she follows. It's something mental health professionals say is a good idea, as we all experience the stress of recent turmoil, from a global pandemic to racial injustices and political divisiveness over the upcoming presidential election.
We have seen spikes in cases of anxiety, depression, suicidality.
we have seen spikes in use of mood-altering substances to cope.
It's an emerging public health concern made worse by our inability to disconnect. But a new survey of 2,000 people by the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center finds Americans are beginning to make adjustments. More than half have changed their social media habits this year, and 1 in 5 make a point to take social media breaks.
Take time to slow down. Take time to breathe.
Psychiatrist Ken Yeager says failing to stop and recognize how social media is affecting our mood can lead to overexposure of traumatic and stressful events.
It makes people over an extended period of time, which we have had here, feel like the world is a less safe place to be in.
Yeager says a good first step is to close your social media feeds and reconnect with friends and family, even if it's a phone call or video chat. And in a world that feels chaotic and overwhelming, you can regain a sense of empowerment by taking actions like voting and getting involved with the issues you care about. For Andrea, it's volunteering with community organizations and fostering shelter animals.
There's such a huge need right now, and if you have the opportunity to get involved, it really helps benefit who you are, and it's paying it forward in this world that desperately needs it.
At the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, this is Barb Consiglio reporting.
The nationwide onion recall that may be linked to salmonella continues to grow. The USDA has released a list of prepackaged foods sold at Walmart and stores owned by Kroger's, such as Smith's. The products include a Southwest-style salad with chicken sold at Walmart and a cheddar cheese and chicken salad tray that's sold at Smith's. At last check, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reporting more than 600 cases of salmonella in 43 states.
In today's Money Watch, billions of dollars in help isn't helping farmers save their livelihoods. Farm bankruptcies rose 8% for the year ending June 30th compared to this same time last year. Farmers found themselves cut off as the pandemic cut off supply chains and closed markets all around the world. Farmers are expected to receive about $33 billion in aid this year. The Farm Bureau Federation expects California farmers to lose more than $8 billion just this year. Well, there's a new high leader in the wireless world. T-Mobile, which recently merged with Sprint, now says it has just over 98 million customers, which would put it ahead of AT&T's 93 million. T-Mobile's numbers include devices like phones and Wi-Fi hotspots. Verizon Wireless, though, still number one. General Motors has unveiled the Cadillac Lyriq. It's a new luxury SUV that's all electric. GM says it plans to introduce at least 20 new electric vehicles in the next 3 years, and Cadillac will lead the way. No word yet on the price, but GM says it will cost less than $75,000. Still to come, a lot of businesses have seen a huge blow to their profits during the pandemic, but one industry is actually thriving. Why sports trading cards are now selling for top dollar.
And it's not something you see every day, a criminal returning to the scene of the crime. The bizarre reason why this guy came back to a place he supposedly robbed.
And later in sports, a big Major League Soccer development today as RSL plans to move forward quicker than expected. While on the hardwood, an epic Rocky Mountain battle between the Jazz and Nuggets. Who would prevail in double overtime? Back in 60 seconds.
This is Fox 13 News.
With baseball and basketball finally back underway, we can say sports are a thing again. And so are the associated memorabilia that people buy with it.
Dan Grossman takes a look at how sports cards made a comeback in the most expensive of ways.
They are no more than 8 square inches. 8 square inches of nostalgia preserved in plastic.
It's just fascinating to watch how much people are actually spending on this stuff.
And worth about as much as the home they are stored in.
Reggie Jackson autograph, Ozzie Smith. I've got some Fernando Tatis autographs. Got 2 of those.
To say Mike Lockwood is a sports card collector would be a disservice.
That's a 1-of-1 Prism rookie card. Ronald Acuna, those are good cards. Those are fun ones.
A disservice to the fanaticism it takes to acquire an array quite like his.
It was a way to spend time and look forward to doing stuff.
It's really fun. It's like really fun to see like what you get and like
be surprised.
A project manager for a retirement company by trade, Mike only got back into collecting once quarantine started, and he quickly found out.
The prices have gone up so much.
Found out he wasn't the only one.
2 weeks ago, when I bought it, I was paying based upon its value being $4,500.
Yeah.
That's 2 auctions that ended this morning on the same card.
What?
Wow.
In 2 weeks, it's appreciated $2K?
That's Mike Fruitman. He owns a sports card shop in Colorado and says the last 4 months have been the 4 highest grossing in his 29 years of business.
When you buy a card of a player, it's like buying stock in a company. And if there's a tsunami that affects Apple, you're going to see their stock depreciate one day. If they come out with the Apple 13 iPhone and it's the best phone and it cures whatever, the stock is going to go up. And you're seeing much the same thing in sports cards.
Remember that sale he was just talking about? It was for this LeBron James rookie card, which saw its value increase from $4,500 to $6,500 in 2 weeks. Same with Kobe. In December, one of his cards was selling for $2,325. The day after his death, a month later, that same card sold for $6,800. Sports card guru Rich Miller says it's something that's been gaining steam since fall and only exploded once COVID hit as a way for people to fill the void sports left.
A lot of the cards are selling for a lot more money than game-worn jerseys and things like that, and I think it is a commodity.
And it's not just fans, but investors who don't even like sports. Consider this. Bol Bol is a rookie basketball player for the Denver Nuggets. In June, before the new NBA season started, his card was trading for less than $2. Then, a few weeks ago, he posted 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 blocks in a scrimmage game. And the price shot up to more than $50 overnight.
Bol Bol autograph. I got that, I don't know, out of some break that I spent I don't know what it's worth now, but yeah, I have a Bol Bol autograph. Should sell it right now.
Mike will consider his options as he instills the passion in his son, Jake.
So I really like this Alvin Kamara rookie memorabilia signed card. This one, I just like it because it solely looks good. And my dad got me this Christian Okoye card.
Looks like he's off to a hot start. I'm Dan Grossman reporting.
All right, in today's Hot Shots, a dad's daring rescue is going viral, and one dog gets quite a warm welcome in Michigan.
But first, a California criminal asking for forgiveness. This happened in Sacramento. Surveillance cameras capturing a burglar returning to the scene of the crime and apologizing to the employees of the smoke shop that he attempted to rob. In the video, you can see the owner behind the register decline the man's handshake. No word yet if this suspect has been caught since this very bizarre encounter.
All right, and I can't even imagine this one. A Texas father had to act fast when an alligator came dangerously close to his kids. Yikes. Andrew Grand says he was with his 2 kids and their babysitter playing by a canal behind their home. And that's when he saw a 12-foot alligator getting closer to them, and he wasted no time throwing his daughter over that fence. Now, the babysitter and his son quickly ran to safety. An alligator hunter got there, captured the large reptile, and took it to its new home at a gator sanctuary.
Well, and try not to smile at this Michigan shelter dog's adorable maternity shoot. Jazzy is a new resident at the Saginaw County Animal Care and Control. Staff gave the expectant mom the royal treatment with a flower-draped photo shoot. And the shelter says Jazzy's puppies won't be up for adoption until they're born.
Man, my maternity photos don't even look that good.
Yeah. I'm sure Mama was really happy to be doing that photo shoot.
Yeah, but not a good time to be 9 months pregnant in this weather.
No. Yeah, having a summer baby, especially this last summer, what we've been experiencing here with triple-digit temperatures, not good. But we've been seeing things cool off here over the past several days. I don't know what's going on the camera there, but at least in St. George, we're at 100 degrees. We got mostly sunny skies, mid-90s right now. Looking at mostly clear skies, a few high clouds rolling through portions of of northern Utah. Winds out of the north at 8 miles per hour. Now, we've been seeing, at least throughout the afternoon, winds not as strong as we've been seeing over the past couple of days, which, of course, has elevated the fire concern. And speaking of fires, improvements in addition as we look towards the smoke situation where, yes, we're still seeing some smoke having and coming through portions of southern Utah, but over the past couple of days, that flow and direction of the smoke really was spreading it all across the state, and even thicker where really over the past 48 hours, air quality has improved. We were unhealthy. Now we're kind of hovering between good, which is green, yellow, moderate concern, but yeah, breathing a little easier across the state. Now, I showed you earlier on the newscast that long-range temperatures tend to be heading in the downward trend there, even though we're going to be finding a few days with temperatures above normal. We're looking towards the end of August. Precipitation-wise, though, this is not what we want to see. As we go from the middle of August towards that third week, it looks like the model's showing from the Climate Prediction Center that precipitation looks to be below normal as we look along the Wasatch Front, central eastern Utah, in areas that we've already been concerned with the drought situation. We're not going to get much help from Mother Nature as we're going to be looking at that monsoon flow just a little too far east. But there are a couple of spots that we might see some brief rain over the next 7 days. I mentioned the winds. Again, not today. We don't have a red flag warning in effect. It's for tomorrow. The National Weather Service is getting us prepared, as this warning will be in place from noon until tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. And we're talking the Wasatch Mountains up through Cache County, Rich County as well. We're not looking at any strong winds, but again, that wind range anywhere between 15 to 20 miles per hour definitely a cause of concern as humidity levels are very low. I showed you at Parley's Canyon earlier on, the humidity level at 6%. That is just so dry. And as you can see, the results with that, where we don't have hardly any clouds or that threat of showers in the forecast, especially as we move through tonight through even tomorrow. High pressure off towards the east as far as the strength and where I could see potentially that monsoon flow, where most of the moisture tracking through New Mexico into Colorado. We have this little low pressure system which is just pumping in drier air and giving us that southwest flow, which will allow temperatures to increase. But let's talk about this high pressure and the movement of the moisture, where, as I show you long range from the computer models, pay attention to the wind flow, but also where we see the green. As we go through Saturday through tomorrow, nothing really happens. Monday night, we start to see maybe some clouds rolling through northern Utah. That could produce a brief isolated mountain shower, but not a big chance. That's Monday. Going to Tuesday, we think, oh, there's some moisture, but it's gone. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, nothing. Friday into Saturday, a little bit of movement of moisture across central and southern Utah. Potentially Saturday night, could see some brief showers central, southern, eastern Utah, late afternoon into the evening, avoiding northern Utah, at least that's what the models are saying. And then as we go into Sunday, we could have some lingering moisture around. That could bring a slight chance or increase our threat of maybe some brief showers in the forecast. But as far as widespread precipitation, anything that's really a super soaker, we just don't see it. So for tonight, it's mostly clear, upper 60s for overnight lows. We're into the 90s once again, so temperatures almost exactly where we're at today across northern Utah. Central southern Utah might find temperatures a degree or two warmer. 102, 103 is the story for St. George up until Friday and Saturday. Now we're talking 104 or potentially 105. 90s for the next several days. We keep the rain away, but even a little bit warmer Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Once we get past Saturday, maybe a chance of rain and slightly cooler temperatures.
What a difference 24 hours makes after sitting out or resting 4 of their 5 starters in a Friday loss to the Spurs. Donovan, Rudy, Royce, and Mike all back, ready to go this afternoon against Denver. Utah entering the day 5th in the West. Denver 3rd with 3 games left, but the hot blend out to a volcanic start. Poked away, Royce O'Neal with the spot up 3. Timeout Nuggets down 15-7. Mike Conley putting the finishing touches on a brilliant first quarter where Utah led 29-15. Right back before the break here, Rudy Gobert to make the lead a game-high 18. Insurmountable? I think not, says Denver. Michael Porter on the receiving end. Game square at 90 in the 4th and final minute. They take their first lead since it was 4-2. Jamal Murray. More Murray. How about this tasty move in transition? The Nuggets sparkle up 5 with 10.8 seconds left. Plenty of time for a little Donovan Mitchell magic. Off the inbounds, Nylon, and then after a missed free throw, splits the atom to force overtime. And after Denver took a 6-point lead in the extra period, Mitchell spurts off another run. Rattles Utah up 119-117. A heroic 35 for him, but Nikola Jokic converts with 0.3 left. So let's do another OT in Orlando where they had to go without Gobert fouling out, and that's where the crazy thing ends. Jeremy Grant there. Mitchell with the heave is no good. What a game, but the loss drops him back to 6th in the standings.
I think it's really showing guys, what to expect. Obviously not having Bojan is huge. So now we just got to figure out what guys' roles are in this situation. And when we come playoff time, like in a playoff intensity game like we just had, where guys need to be, where guys' points are going to come from, where guys' our stops are going to come from, and who's ready for the moment.
Damian Lillard and the Blazers running out of time to catch Memphis for that 8th spot. Weber State's own up and under final minute for a 2-point lead. The Clippers going without Kawhi Leonard, but they did have Rodney McGruder. Big tray for the lead. Lillard, the 11th best free throw shooter in basketball at 89%, does something you rarely see, shanking both with 19 ticks left. Damian also rimming off a game-tying 3 as well. Tough setback for Portland. Major League Soccer's welcome back tournament wrapping up on Tuesday. In the meantime, clubs including RSL were all on pins and needles waiting for what's next. And today we found out that the season will in fact go on, and outside of a bubble, mind you, with a 6-game Phase 1 schedule beginning at Colorado on August 22nd. Real Salt Lake with 3 games on the road and another 3 at home. Their debut at the Riot slated for 2 weeks from today against LAFC. Limited fans will also be allowed inside. Portland, Seattle, Minnesota, and the Rapids again will round out that first phase, leading to Phase 2 and eventually an expanded playoff format the MLS hopes to wrap up in December.
We're happy with it. I mean, we would have loved this to have been the case before Orlando, but it couldn't be done, and we had to do the Orlando. But we're excited to be back at home. It's, there'll be family around, and the comfort level is so much nicer when you're at home, and the rest periods go a long way when you're comfortable.
Meanwhile, the Monarchs are off this week, but will be back in front of fans in Sandy next week. The club is 1-2-1 with 12 games left, hoping to potentially repeat off their USL title run from last November.
For all the wrong reasons that 2020 is going to be remembered for, this season is definitely going to be something very unique, something that probably won't happen again. So we're treating it as something that's very exciting, a World Cup structure where we could come out of the group stage and then potentially go on into the playoffs and win it. And with it being such a short season, every game matters.
And some playoff hockey. Vegas and Colorado from Edmonton. 3-2 Golden Knights in the third. But the Avalanche have the puck where they want it, eventually poked home by JT Compher. But in the waning seconds of OT, Vegas on the slide. Alex Took will do it himself. Top shelf for the win to improve to 3-0 this postseason. We're right back.
We have breaking news just into the Fox 13 newsroom. Police are investigating after an officer-involved shooting in Holiday. Unified Police say they were called out around noon to a parking garage in Holiday after a woman called saying that her husband was suicidal.
Police say that man had a gun and they tried negotiating with him, but officers shot him. Now, we're still waiting for more details as to what led up to that shooting. Police did say the man was taken to the hospital in critical condition. No officers were hurt in this incident. Of course, we'll bring you the latest tonight on Fox 13 News at 9, and you can check our social media accounts and fox13now.com.
Well, taking one quick look at our 7-day here, Breck.
Yeah, string of 90s. We keep it dry, sunny for the next couple of days. So tomorrow, temperatures same as we saw today, mid-90s for highs.